Halo, selamat pagi semua. Good morning. Kalau siang, if it was the afternoon, I'd say selamat siang. If it was the early evening, I'd say selamat sore atau selamat petang. And if it was the evening, I would say it was after 7 o'clock. I would say selamat malam. Now, I want to share with you some of the lessons that I've learned from studying Bahasa Indonesia. I started really learning Bahasa Indonesia non-formally, informally, when I was a student, a 17-year-old in Padang, an exchange student 37 years ago. And that was a beautiful language. It is a beautiful language to me. So, because to me, it has so many elements of different languages, Dutch, of course, but then before that, you had Sanskrit, you have Portuguese, of course, Spanish, Arabic, and you have all these languages, and to me that makes it a beautiful language. So I want to kind of go through like the way that I learned it. Of course, at that time in 1985, when I was 17, I was learning it from a book, pre-internet. But in some ways, the important thing for me was to speak it and learn it and not be focused so much on grammar. So that's what I want us to do today. All right, the very basics of Bahasa Indonesia. First thing, saya, me. I use saya most of the time because I find it works for most situations, right? Saya mau ini, saya Bruce, nama saya Bruce, my name is Bruce. That's what it just works, right? We have a diminutive form, a form that you use informally, which is aku, but you use it with people who are the same level as you, or you're very intimate with, you're close to, children. But for me, it always feels a bit like baby talk. Yeah, we have other slang terms in Indonesian such as gue, but let's start out with the let's just get the basics down. Let's kind of walk sambil jalan kita bicara, but let's not lari sebelum kita bisa bicara. So let's get that down pat. Kamu is you. Now use this again carefully because you is used usually very informally with people. So you, kamu with people that we know well. Otherwise, we address them by their names or their how we regard them in society. An older man, bapak, opa, an older lady, ibu or bu. Or sometimes we use anda, but anda is a very kind of stilted and very formal kind of word, often used in advertising and such. And then we have dia. So Indonesia doesn't have the specific gender pronoun. So dia is for man or woman, but then you would be able to distinguish between them. And then we have mereka, which is them or they. Mereka. Siapa mereka? Who are they, right? Which brings me also to our word for kami and kita, which is we. But there's two versions of we. Kami is when I'm speaking and I'm not including you as the person I'm speaking with, right? So for instance, let me give you a simple sentence. Kami sudah makan tadi. Kami sudah makan tadi. So I'm telling you that kami, me and whoever I'm with, we ate already, tadi, earlier, tadi. Now, if I was including you, I would use kita. Kita nonton film ya? Kita nonton film yuk? So, meaning that let's go watch a movie together yuk? Let's go watch a movie together. Nonton is to watch. Film is film. Or we use the word bioskop, which to South Africans will be a familiar word as it's used in South Africa too, but as bioskop, yeah. So we have that. Increasingly, though, I have to say that people are losing, especially celebrities, when you hear them on TV, they're kind of losing that distinction between the kami, yang non-inclusive, and kita, yang inclusive. You tend to use kita a lot, but I think it's important for us to know the rules. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, next ones. The basics of interrogatives. Apa? What? Siapa? Who? Kapan? When? Di mana? Where? And bagaimana? How? So, apa nama kamu? Apa nama kamu? What's your name? If I was speaking to somebody younger, or somebody of the same status as me, yeah. Siapa dia? Who's that? And other ones that we can have. So you got siapa, di mana, where, di mana rumah, rumah is your home or your house, di mana rumah kamu, where's your home, where's your house, and then we have apa namanya? Then we have bagaimana. Now bagaimana basically means how to do something, yeah. So bagaimana masak nasi goreng? How do you cook fried rice? But we would also say bagaimana as a greeting to somebody when we first meet them, which is like saying, how are you doing? How are things? To go along with apa kabar? Apa kabar? What's the news? Apa? What's? Kabar is news. Excuse me. So we got those two things. I prefer to use bagaimana. Bagaimana or gimana. Gimana kabarnya? Bagaimana, which is just like how is it? How's it going? So we have those things. These are the very basics that we can learn. Now, let's just start out with those things, yeah? Those things for the start in our first lesson. But I also want to share with you some Indonesian words that sound like English words, that when you hear them, you'll think, oh, that's familiar. And why I want to do that is because I think that so much of language learning is not just the textbooks, not just listening to classes, and that's part of it. But so much of it is making associations with words, and that sound like the words that we know in our own language, right? That we can get a familiarity, and that makes it easier to remember. So let me start from the top. The word dan, D-A-N, or in Indonesian, D-A-N, and. So and, dan. Bruce dan John, Bruce and John. The next word, mandi, M-A-N-D-E, M-A-N-D-E, or M-A-N-D-I, mandi, to bathe. That's for us, people, to bathe for our personal hygiene. It's not for your clothes, which is a different word, the very cute sounding CUCI CHOO CHI, to wash plates, dishes, clothes, etc. Other words that we have that sound the same, for instance, pasti, P-A-S-T-I, P-A-S-T-I, which means definitely, pasti. If you're from England, you know that word, of course, and so it sounds almost the same, right? Well, it does sound the same, excuse me. So I hope these basic things will help you as we start. And we get a start on how to understand how to speak Indonesian, and I hope it will help you. So let's go through it again, yeah? Saya Bruce. Nama saya Bruce. Kamu mau makan? Mau. Beautiful word. Say it like German mau, to want or to plan to do something. Saya mau minum. I want to drink. Minum. All right. So, kamu, saya, kamu, dia, him, her, mereka, and then like what I talked about, the distinction between kita, inclusive, kita minum yuk. Let's have a drink together. Or kami, which is not inclusive, but it's referring to a collective, or in England we'd say the royal we. And then the basics. Apa, who, what, siapa, who, di mana, where, kapan, when, and apa namanya? Yang terakhir, bagaimana, how or how are things. All right, that's 10 minutes. I hope that helps you, just for starters. And let's speak in Bahasa Indonesia because it's a beautiful language. It's really Bahasa Mendunia, really a language of the world, and that is going international. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa. Until next time. Bye-bye.